The reason why I'm making this video is for very new players or players that are still new to the game. Is that the best way to say it? Well, the game is loading up. How you start your settlement has a huge impact on what you do later as you've played more than a few hours. So it's kind of important for me to share with you some interesting little rules and details about how best to start the game and how this method, this scheme, pays off later. So that's what we're going to focus on, how to get off to a good start. Of course, I'll need to start off with as a new game. Now, the very first option there, which is called Coastal, is probably the best way to start if you're a new game player. So let's go ahead and reduce this pretty good. The Bay Area, well, it won't hurt to make that bigger. Make it as big as you think is useful. That looks like about halfway. The lake size, that could come in handy since you're not going to be quite so as restricted on where you start and try to develop your first settlement. I don't really do the island thing, so let's make this very, very small on islands. I'll even go one more. And they still gave me one right there. Well, okay. Cliffs, no, you want the map as flat as possible. That looks like a pretty flat. Same thing with the hills. And same thing with the slope. That would make your game pretty darn flat. Now there will still be these, what would I call them, stone hills, but their main purpose is to provide you with mining operation a little bit later, which is a huge advantage in the game. All right, so let's go ahead and select our rules. Now, whatever is highlighted, that is the answer to the question or the request for what rules will be defined. You kind of tell that by all these down here. I'm going to leave them all on balanced instead of fast or some of the other options. So, show how to play the game. It's on. Ever happy population is off. We don't want them to be ever happy. We want the challenge of keeping them happy. Invulnerable army. No, it wouldn't make much sense to send off an army that cannot be harmed. Unlimited coins. No, that makes too much of the game too simple. Less of a challenge and technically too fast. Cosmetic construction. You see where that says in that pop-up window? Well, we want that off. Optional events. We want that on. Otherwise, we won't get visitors offerings, trade deals, gifts, and other, possibilities in the game, which are kind of nice. Non-depletable. Oh dear, non-depletable. Now that's a tough one. I'm going to say on, even though I would probably play myself as a experienced player off, because that way the mineral deposits like stone and iron and all that will not disappear unless you command it to be removed, which is an option in the game. So I'll go ahead and leave that on. That way your harvesting site will be more or less permanent unless you change your mind and remove the resource. Prospect all materials. No, I don't want to instantly know where those big, huge rock formations, what they contain. That would kind of take the mystery out of the game and the reason why you would have a bailiff and these other special members of your settlement. One of the things they do is they go out and they prospect. And it costs 100 gold usually. 100 gold coins, which is what makes gold such a primary asset in the game, the gold coins. Not necessarily the mining gold, because you don't make coins or you don't mint coins with those resources, like the gold ore that you turn into gold bars. That's mostly for jewelry purposes, which is a huge profitable thing to do a little bit later. Well, after more than, I would say, 8 hours of gameplay. Upgrade trade routes. Well, I don't want them instantly level 4. That is something that also costs gold, and you have to use those special members of your settlement I was talking about, like the bailiff. That's usually the first one you get after you pay for them. So let's don't use that. Let's keep that off. Unlock all lockables. No, that would take away the challenge of the first real options that give you the choice to make improvements. And of course that burns up a lot of gold, and also the special coins that are dedicated either to the labor part of your settlement, later on to the castle, because there's a separate coin for each of those. The labor one looks green, the castle looks kind of like it might be more copper than gold, and then there's one that looks kind of silver for the clergy. That's where your monastery and churches and all that come into play. Own all territories. Now that completely reveals the map, and now you suddenly own everything that's available on the map. No, we want that off, because every time you buy a new territory, which has a real funky, strange look to it, shape, and it might not be the kind of shape you would prefer, but they've put a lot of effort into scheming, making this part of the game difficult. So you don't just buy another square, you buy this odd configuration, this odd shape to add to your territory. And that's 100 gold right there. Plus you have to pay rent after the first 2 every month. And that rent builds up pretty fast, which really messes with your budget. So we want to have and turn that off so we have that challenge of trying to maintain enough gold coins on our budget. Okay, the rest of it we'll just leave at the default of balance. Now they're going to call this the classic game. And the classic games mean you can do anything and everything in the game. And like it says right there, it gave as intended, perfect for your first playthrough. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So anyway, we're done with the rules. Let's go on to the next part, aspiration. Alright, I'm going to leave it on relax and play on my own. I'm not going to do this one because there's restrictions, just like these other two. Certain things you're not supposed to do, like you can't build a castle, you can't build the monastery, you got to limit your population to 75, and different things. So we'll just leave it on classic game, relax and play on my own, this first one, since it offers all possibilities that the game provides. Now let's go to the next one. Keys. Well, first thing I'm going to change is the color of the shield. I like that. Now the other color is cool, I like that too, but let's put it in a different configuration. I kind of like that one. Now the other one I like a lot was this one, but we'll go with the chevron. Which, like in the armies and stuff, that's usually the first chevron you get. It's either like that, like for the American Army, or it's inverted like it is for the Air Force. Alright, so top, we'll just go with the basic, but you got these other choices to make it a little, different. I'll just go with the classic. And the same thing with the bottom. I'll just go with the classic, the old rounded shape. Okay, now the next thing is, let's change the name of the village. Well, it starts out as a hamlet. What would be a good name for how to start your game? Fürstburg, maybe? Because we will have a castle, that's what Berg means in German. Fürstburg. Or should we do something else besides first? Well, we could change it to Fürstburg. Well, Fireberg, Verbberg, Furfberg. Well, I'll leave it like that, even though it might conjure up certain thoughts in a person's mind. Maud, that's your name. And you can also give yourself a title, but normally you just need the name because they'll be giving you different titles through the game as your city grows and whatnot. Let's get back up here first. Instead of saying keys, let's go with, is that a goat maybe? What is that? Well, anyway, the colors, I like high contrast, so let's go with a black goat. Or is that maybe supposed to be a sheep? And the outline, high contrast again, we'll go with silver. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. But I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Is that supposed to be like a half-grown deer? A sheep? A young goat? Well, I don't know. Anyway, mod. I don't know why, but I kind of like that idea, mod. Yeah, let's go with that. There's all these random choices you can pick. And right now there's no change here unless you want to write it. Well, no, this is for this name here. So you can't really change that, so we might as well just leave it alone. Maybe they're planning out future options rather than Pioneer. All right, let's go ahead and start. Now, while it's loading up with all of our decisions and choices for rules and whatnot, look at these that they're giving you. Now, all of these normally work pretty well for you, but there are some ifs, ands, and buts to each of these that they offer. They'll probably change some of these in the future, but it's kind of hard to, kind of hard to predict since this game is already 6 years old, and there's just a lot of things that haven't been improved. Now, some of those problems might be with my computer, even though it's rather new, and it shouldn't be having problems playing this game. But once I get anywhere near 100 villagers, occupants, settlers, serfs, what do you want to call them, I start having problems. My computer starts to lag. Now, we left the tutorial on, so of course, you have to click here after you read before the game will offer anything else or let you click on anything. So now they're saying we need to learn the controls. Now they have up here in the corner, we'll see where that question mark is. See, right now I cannot activate it at all, but later on you will, and they'll show you all this stuff. But anyway, now you've got the choices using the up key. They're talking about the 4 arrow keys that are between your numeric pad, your numbers pad, and your basic keyboard with all the letters and stuff. So that's what I'm going to use. Even though you're going to want to practice using the W, the A, the S, and the D. That's how you're going to control the camera movement during the game. But for Gins and Griggles, I'll just use the arrow keys. And once, I got to click, got it first. Otherwise, I'm locked into this screen. Okay, so now we'll do the up arrow, the down arrow, the left arrow, and the right arrow. And it goes on to the next keyboard control. Okay, so to mess with the camera, we want to zoom in and out, and the way they recommend it, of course, is the mouse wheel, rotating it one direction or the other. And as it spins, you'll go up or you go back, like I just demonstrated. Now you've got the option to tilt the camera forward, which means like bird's eye view, or back, which is the F key, so that you get back down to the rabbit view. Yeah, that's pretty much the rabbit view there. So we'll go back up a little bit, about halfway in between. And now they want us to rotate the camera with the middle click. Middle click. What did they mean by middle click? Well, they got me there. I'm not sure. Because I'm messing with the mouse and nothing's happening. So anyway, we'll go back to the standard Q. Rotate to the left. E, rotate to the right. And now they want us to choose our first territory, our starting territory. So we got to do here, got it, or nothing will happen. All right, now this is the territory we're going to expand from. As long as my cursor is out in the middle here somewhere, then I'll be able to do something. Now that looks like one that most players with a little experience in the game would start with, because there's a pretty good chance if I zoom in with the mouse wheel. Oh no, I don't see any jumping fish. Oh, here's some over here. So of course I would want to buy this next territory, even though it might not be providing much more than a little bit of water and a little bit of shoreline. How about this one over here? Fishing is one of the first early what they call rustic foods that you can provide. No, same thing there. Oh, now this one does provide some fish. So we can get to providing fish as a food source to our settlers real early. Has it got more than one? I'm only seeing one, I think. No, there's 2. Ooh, that would be very, very advantageous. They're not letting me buy this? No, they're not even offering this one. And that one's got, let's see, 1, 2, and 3. So, of course, that'd be the next one we'd bought. But our village is going to be kind of small because, as you can see, this territory doesn't leave you a lot of room. Now, actually, that's not going to make a big difference to me since it does have one fishing spot. But the next territory that'll open up to me will be this one, but it probably is just a thin strip also. This one's got more wood, which is kind of important when you're first starting out. And there is one right here. It's got a pretty good amount of wood, too. Does that have a fishing spot? Thought I saw something right there. It does have a fishing spot. So with all things considered, that would be probably the better first purchase of those that we've looked at. But it's right there on the border. So now let's click up here on the map and take a look at where we're at here. The map looks to be off a little bit because I think we're up in here somewhere. All right, let's turn this off. And let's just move the camera forward with the W key. And then let's look at it again. See, now we're up at that corner. So the map must be turned around backwards. Let's try that. Let's see if we go up here what happens. So let's use the E key. No, let's use the Q key. And maybe go back just a little bit. Now let's look. Yeah, we're at the opposite corner. So let's use the E key to rotate around. Okay, a little bit more back. Now let's look at the map. Does that look like more of where we're at, or do we need to rotate some more? Oh, we need to rotate some more. I should have seen the other borderline by now. Yeah, we got to rotate some more. But before I do that, let's get this thing about halfway square. So now let's rotate a little bit more. I don't know. Are we just right back where we started? Yeah, we're kind of back where we started. We don't have this corner display quite right. So let's rotate a little bit more like so. You might not think this is very useful, but it is a very big thing that you want to R key all the way up to get your orientation. That doesn't look quite like what we've got there, does it? So let's rotate some more. That still don't look right, does it? Yeah, I'm going to use the same key again, the Q key. But I don't think we're making any progress. Yeah, see, that's just the opposite of what I'm looking at. Maybe that's something they need to fix. Because the corner should be going this way. Let's see. Now, we've already tried that, so let's keep going. Go back just a hair. I am all the way up with the R key like in Roger Rabbit. I mean, yeah, I think I am. All right, so let's mash down the wheel on our mouse and hold it in and move it like this. That provides fine adjustment. You'll use that a lot in the game when you're trying to do your farm fields and stuff using the square option. Now let's take a look. Oh dear, it still ain't right. Oh, it's like a mirror image. Well, anyway, we backed off as far as we can, so that's it. We're stuck with that. Oh dear. Well, anyway, if you want to do fishing right away, part of your strategy or something, then you'd probably want this one. But I don't. What I want to do is I want to get in the middle of the map. So let's see. We know we're close to an edge, but I don't know which edge. We're not quite in the middle of the map yet. Oh, we should be. Yeah, it's still backwards. It's like a mirror image. So the middle of the map would probably be... And since everything is a mirror image, when we look at the map, this borderline is probably not going to be at the top. Yeah, see what I mean? It's at the bottom of the screen. And it's showing us that we're closer as a mirror image to this edge than we are the other one. So we need to go back a little bit. Now, it's going to be a mirror image, but it doesn't seem like it's... Yeah, actually, now we're getting closer. So instead of going up, let's go down. We're getting close to the middle of the map. A little bit more. Oh, I went the wrong way because I got to remember this is a mirror image. All right, so let's go back down this way. All right, I can just barely see that one edge, but I cannot see the other edge, so I need to go down a little bit more. And I'm still not seeing this one. So we must be pretty darn dead center. But I probably should go a little bit to, well, it wouldn't be the left, it'd be the right, since it's a mirror image. So let's go a little bit more to the right. No, we still see the border. Uh-oh. If I keep going. Oh, now they're showing me both of them. So I must be pretty close to the dead center of the map. So what do we have at the dead center of the map? Pretty much where we started. And they're not going to offer every spot in the map. They're just going to offer certain areas to settle. And you have to decide on your strategy which one would suit your purposes best. Now, is how much space you're actually getting with each of these. I would suggest that space looks like there's more, but it's mostly water. That one looks slightly bigger, but it's probably pretty close to the same. And they won't let us get right to the rocks right away. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do this one, I think. Yeah, I think this one has got a nice fat section in here. It doesn't have as many trees as I would like, but there's an option in the game that kind of doesn't make that much of a detail. Okay, now as you can see, the purchase of this territory, which is a left click, will cost you nothing to begin with initial purchase, but it will also cost you nothing each month. Of course, that won't last because we're going to need more territories, and they're going to really suck it to us when we do. All right, so I'm going to click there, and now I own that territory. That's my starting point. Now they're telling you what to do with that starting point, and that is, start your settlement. See right down here on the left-hand side, you're going to get a lot of, with the tutorial and stuff, and the events turned on, you're going to get a lot of stuff to what I would call to-do list options. And of course, the first thing is build your village center. Well, you actually start out not with a village, but with a hamlet. So I'm kind of surprised they don't talk about that, but maybe they use a village name instead, because that's what you're going to be next once you're too big to be a hamlet. All right, so we got to do here first. And what I want to do is I want to go up here and click on visibility. And I want to see the borderline. It's not quite as obvious as it was when we were trying to select a spot, but having this visible makes your game planning much, much easier. Now, I'm going to stay way up here in the bird's eye view, all the way up with the R key, so I get straight down a look, so I can see all the borderline, because the trees are going to hide quite a bit of it. So then we'll click here, and then of course this is the first thing we got to do. Now you see those little rounds, white circles with the exclamation in there? That one is for everything, so it's just telling you that there's stuff you haven't done yet, and you haven't looked at yet. So let's click on here, just click on it, and then nothing happens. The game practically has us frozen until we do this, village center. Now I'm going to back this off a little bit, and I'm going to actually look for the center, because I'm going to make a recommendation that even the game doesn't make that really pays off as you start playing. That bush, I think, is recommending it's in the center. So boom. And then all I got to do is build it and put my left mouse cursor, click. Now most of the stuff you're going to do in this game is going to be a left click, so unless I say right click, that's probably a left click. Right click doesn't come in all that often unless you're trying to remove or erase something. Now they're telling you every time you see a question mark, you need to activate it, and the tutorial will give you probably another to-do list. Okay, see we got a hamlet, and there's our Furtberg. No, it's not the other word. It's Furtberg. Okay, so now if you want this to go away, get out of your face, that's a right click with your mouse. Just put your cursor on it and right click with the mouse. All right, zoom in a little bit with the mouse wheel, rotation, and let's click on the question mark. Advice. Organizing work. See there? Now that's not going to go away and let you do much of anything until you say that is practical. They want you to use the advice so that they can give you another one of these to-do lists on the side. New building available, and of course that's why we've got that white circle again. And what they want you to do is your first critical building down, which is the builder's workshop. And this, of course, would show everything. There's some options there, and there's some options there. We'll click on this one first, and it will not let us do anything. Click here. Now we've got something. Now, we can also try this one again. Now, move your cursor up there, and it'll take away that circle. But we got to go back here. Can't do anything with this one right now. Click there. And then I would recommend you put it pretty close. And then you see that little triangle, that little white triangle, and that blue footprint is what I call it. That circles the entire building. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit more. Move the camera around a little bit. All of your structures will have that blue line going all the way around them, which tells you what the footprint of the structure is, and you don't want to overlap those. I would recommend you try to leave what looks like, if you're in the close-up view, all the way down. Come on, game. That's my mouse wheel for some reason. Maybe it's getting worn out. You don't need to go down that far, but you want to go down at least that far, maybe, to make sure you're not overlapping any of the footprints of your structures. Right now, we don't have anything to worry about because we don't have any other structure. Now, we'll left-click, and then we'll grab this, rotate it. This is a left-click, rotate, or drag. And if we're happy, then we go down here, and we pay the 5 wood, and it's pretty much automatic. Now, if we want to get rid of it for some reason, which wouldn't make any sense at this point, then we would use the shovel, the little white shovel in the circle there. So let's go and click it in. It's instant. Now we'll back off a little bit with the mouse wheel, and we've got to assign workers like it says. Now at first you just need one but I usually do more than one right away. And of course it tells right there, assign new builders in your to-do list. I usually do 2 real quick ones. Now don't click here and use this option where you click on the plus sign to add them. If you click over here, you'll just get a look at who it is. See there? The names are kind of odd. Kind of very European, like in a country other than England or even France. So anyway, I would recommend that you always use the option where you use the plus sign. And if you want to remove one and let the game decide who, it'll probably remove the one with the lowest level from experience for being at the job for a while, like more than half an hour or so. Because they'll probably go from 1 to 2 in about a half an hour to 45 minutes. It might take a little longer. I think that's about a good estimate. So what I'm going to do is 2 real fast clicks, because this is going to come up and stop the process. And then we'll just get out, left click again, and right click this time. Because it's telling us right there we've got another building. It's also telling us over here what they want you to do, your to-do list. So we'll click here. See the circle? That looks like an exclamation point to me. Now you can also click on it and see what it does. It takes it down. If you click on it again, it brings it back up. Experienced players have a habit of not leaving the tutorial on, so they don't get these to-do list kind of things. So I'll click right there where it says build. Now we've already built this, right? So now we got to click over here. And then we want to run our cursor over it to remove it, because this is what we're going to do next. Right now we don't have a lot of choices anyway. And you've got to have, like it says, recommended or resources needed. You've got to have 2 hammers. We've got 40 to start the game with. And all of that stuff is right here. See there? You've got 55 wood, 40 hammers, 10 berries that we'll eat later when we provide the access to them. And you've got some cloth, which will become important to maintain in your inventory. Now you cannot get rid of this village center, but you can move it. It's just a little bit too early to worry about that right now. And if you want to edit the building, see what happens. A small resource depot. It's got a green check mark because it's already been placed. But anyway, there's nothing more we can do with it right now, since it's really too early to be building it, or not building it. We've already done that. Moving it. It's too early for that. All right, so let's get back here. Let's do our lumber cap. Now for this, you might want to back off and see, okay, where is the most trees? It looks like to me it's up there. Now we'll zoom in. Now this is going to be where my advice is going to sound a little strange at first, but it'll pay off dividends later. Rotate your building. Don't overlap the footprint. See, we have an overlap right there. Now move it up a little bit. That looks like about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm also going to rotate it just a little bit more. Now you see the 3 triangle? That's how they get in and out of this spot. In fact, I'm going to rotate it back a little bit. So I'm trying to go as north-south as I can. That's why I was messing around with the display when we looked at the map and trying to get things squared up by rotating the map left or right and then moving around up and down and inside, try to get towards the center. Okay, we've got enough separation, I think. And I think we've got things going there. They'll probably come in and out on one of these so they go back and forth to the wood. Okay, it's going to cost us 10 gold. Boom. And the builder, did she go on brick? Did both of them go on brick? Oh, they sure did. You see this little option up here? Looks like 2 chevrons stacked one on the other. I'm on free time, and I'm on free time. Well, you little boogers, taking a break. They do that a lot in the game. All of them do. And also notice you have a little green circle here. It says you could unassign the worker there, but normally, if you want to unassign the worker, you use this one right here. Dismiss from workplace. See there, a little, like an X and a red circle? Or you add another builder since there's villagers that are available because they're considered unemployed right now. Let's see if that makes any difference. Got a new worker. Ah, the new worker goes right to work. They figure they don't need to take a break just yet, huh? Yeah, she looks at her building plans. She grabs some resources out of this stockpile and she goes right to work. Now, if you look, she doesn't have the chevrons. Now she's taking a break. She's done her job. See there? Waiting for more work. I guess she figures it's too soon to be taking a break, but they will always go back to this area. That's where this is important. All right, so we got the same symbol we had before. Let's get rid of this. And we could click anywhere around here, or we click up here like they normally recommend. No workers assigned. That's what that symbol means. Now, there's one more symbol I want to add, but I'll have to go up here where it says visibility and turn on this one right here, parts under construction. Make it bright white. Now, the rest of these are already on, so whatever that symbol means, no worker assigned, which is like you see right there. Missing raw materials. There's something that you don't have available for construction. Storage is full. You'll see that soon enough. Missing extraction zone. You'll see that soon enough. And construction requirement not met. There's something you have to authorize before they can get back to the job. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that off. Now let's click right there like as normal and do a quick 3, put them right to work before the tutorial takes over again. Okay, painting, wood cutting. You gotta give them permission. They won't do anything until you give them permission. Just think of yourself as a Lord Mayor with a dictator's attitude. And remember, they're afraid to do anything. They simply won't do anything until you give them permission. All right, we got it. And you're going to have to remind yourself if this is your first game. Now, see right now? Remember that missing zone thing I was telling you about? Well, that's your permission. So we'll back off. And we have to click right here, which is a new symbol for you. Paint. And as you can see, there's a brush in the center of it. And it's telling you it's new, something you haven't clicked on yet or looked at with your cursor. And now you have 3 new things to look at. Now, if there happens to be a forbidden area you don't want them to touch, then you would click here. And then you would click maybe, I'll just click there since this is a demonstration. Now, you could do a left click and drag also. See there? And if there's a resource you want them to remove because you don't want to bother harvesting it anymore, then you would click here. And then you would find a resource. Can't do anything with those flowers and scrub brush. All right, let's say we don't want them to, well, I'll make the circle smaller. Now remember this, the game doesn't show you this right away. Hold down your control key. You've got two of them on your keyboard, either on the left side or the right side. Now rotate your mouse wheel to make it smaller, so we don't identify too much. Now let go of your control key. We're satisfied with the size of our circle. And click on there, see what it says, resource removal. And that berry bush will disappear. Now we'll go back here. And now let's click on it. Oh, they won't even let us click on it. Well, that will disappear after a short period of time. See, I don't know, can you see what he's doing? He's digging up the rose bush. She's getting the tree out of the way so he can finish his job. Now, what does he do with those berries that were there? He's a builder. We look here, nothing. Those berries that were available just disappear. So it doesn't matter what he's digging up or removing from the game as a builder. It just disappears. It doesn't go into your inventory. Even if you got storage available, nothing happens. All right, now let's pay attention to missing the zone, the permission zone. We have to go back to the paint. And we have to do this one, wood cutting. We have to give them permission. See where it says allows wood cutting in this area? Now you have a number of choices. First thing I'll do is control key, hold it down, rotate my mouse wheel, make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's big enough. Okay. And then I could, anywhere that I own, I could click and say, okay, take all the trees out of this zone. Oh, we're right on the edge of our property line. So we need to back up a little bit and then click again. So now anybody we've assigned, well, I'll get rid of this first. Anybody we've assigned to this shop, and we have 3 people assigned. I'm gathering wood. I'm on free time, and I'm gathering wood. So you got 2 out of 3 that's going to work. The rest of them, they're just hanging out. All right, so let's see. If we zoom in, we use the rabbit view. A tree just fell, so there's one worker. Now they're bringing the wood. Oh, both of them have cut down one tree. They stopped. And they're going to put them in the storage bin right there. See there? Now, their storage bin will only hold 50. And once they get 50, they'll go on, oh, well, they're going to break already. After they fill this up to 50, that's it. They're not going to do anything else until you use some of that wood or give them more storage space somehow, some way. And there's different ways you can do that. Now, if we move our cursor over here, it says production output. And what they're collecting, of course, is wood. Well, I'm not really sure why they don't put the word log there, or logs, wood logs. But they just want you to know that it's a primary construction material, and they're just going to call it basically wood. Now, if you don't want them to do any more work, then you pause production. And you'll never have more than 4 wood until you hit this again, put it back into production. Current productivity is 100%. Well, that's a little misleading, but they're just telling you you don't have anybody that's damaged, wooded, missing, or whatever. And remember, use these symbols to add or subtract. And this is best left to a serf, which is the first rank everybody has. So you never want to promote your lumber camp workers, your woodcutters. You never want to promote them. If you do, after a short delay, they will suddenly disappear. They'll walk away. And that's telling you what the lumber camp does. All right, have we pretty well beat that to death, giving you all the details? Well, I probably should say edit the building. Now, we don't have any options right now, but if we did, they would show up right here. Later on, we'll open up, we'll have to pay for it first with gold. The option to put more workers there, more storage there, and that's pretty much it. Well, no, we could put some splendor there, which is a term you're going to have to get used to make the work site more available for another tier. But for the wood camp, that doesn't really seem to apply too much. But splendor is a big deal later in the game. So we got 2 guys still on break, and we got 1 that went back to work. Well, anyway, let's get back down to here. We've got a new option now that we can build. And that new option is right there, Forester Camp. Now, they're telling you to do berries. But we need to do this first. We really do. Because if you don't do it now, even though they're not recommending it down here, you want to, because if you ever run out of wood, the person that works here in the forester camp can replant trees for you. And after a short delay, they'll be big enough for them to harvest. So don't forget that. And I would recommend you go ahead and put it pretty close to your forester camp. But I'm going to move it down a little bit, and I'll explain why. First of all, I'll rotate it until we get to what I call the front door pointing back in this direction. And the reason being is when you assign a person in there, I'm not going to do it right away. They're going to go back and forth, and they're going to make a trail like you see right here. And the more they go back and forth, the deeper that trail's going to get. Now I'm looking at this gap right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I want to rotate it just a little bit to kind of square it up. But I don't want to overlap. See, that's a little too close. And it's not really squared up yet. These lines should look parallel. And that's pretty close. I think that's going to work for me. Now, the reason why I didn't want to put it too close to over here, even though that might seem like a logical place to put it, is because later on when we pay for the option, we're going to provide more storage space, like you see right here. We'll put it over here, over here, over here, and we could also add more people to the camp with various options. And we'll need space for that too. So right now, the only space we got. Now, I'll tell you right away, I am not planning on moving that lumber camp any day soon. In fact, I probably never will, if I can get away with it. The other thing is, you see, missing raw materials. Well, that's not really the full story. Oh, I need to pay for this. There we go. And then the builders, when they come off a break, they'll get over and get busy. I should show you that they now have... Oh, I just used a bunch of wood, didn't I? So they're going to go, once they decide they've been on break long enough, they're going to go back to work and try to get back up to 50 right here in this first lot. I just used 40, so apparently. All right, let's back up. Now, it says we want to produce berries. Now, let's see. Is that the new thing? It looks there's something new that we can build. And it's right there. So we need to click on it, and there it is. Once we get our cursor over there, see it removes that little indicator. Now, as soon as you click on the building, either constructed already or like right now, it's not constructed yet. You want to notice that it's showing you where the supplies are, the berries. Even though some of them are not in your territory, you back up, good grief, they got berries all over the place. But we can't get to those. We can only get to the ones in our territory. So we'll zoom in. I'll use the F key a little bit. And remember, I want to leave space around this. And I want to go, I think, I think I want to put it right in here. Now, we see these bushes and flowers. Those are also good places to put it, because you can't do anything with those bushes and flowers. They're just kind of like decoration. Now, I don't want to put it there, even though I'm kind of tempted to. Let's put it over here, right in the middle of this bunch of scrub brush. Now, notice the berries turn off. They figure you must already know where you want to put it. And I'm going to point towards those berries. See what happens every time you touch the building? Oh, wait a minute. What do we got right here? Oh, we've got some stone. So that's going to change my decision, because we're going to be harvesting that stone. I'm going to move it back. And I'll put it all the way back to here. And let's see. I want the circle to get bigger, so I better provide for that. And we're far enough away, I think, from the stone that we're going to be harvesting in the near future. So let's go ahead and pay the 10 gold. And once the builders decide that wait a minute, we've got a question mark over here. Will they go ahead and go to work, or are they going to wait for me to do this? I think they're waiting on me to do this. All right, so anyway, they're going to tell you something about that building. And the fact that you can identify a dark blue area, or a zone as they call it in the game, for this person to go to work. And they'll plant new tree saplings. And once they get big enough, then the woodcutters will go get it unless you told them to leave it alone. I don't know why you would do that, but you've got to paint this with a light blue like you did before in order to get them to go to work on that corner back there. And we'll say, got it. Now it's produce berries. Well, once the building is constructed, and everybody's on break right now, Yeah, I don't have it on pause like you down option by hitting the spacebar or left clicking with the mouse on the toggle pause. So yeah, they're moving back and forth. Once I put it on pause, they all just freeze right where they're at. They don't move anymore. So we're really waiting on the builders to get back up there. Now let's click here again. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. They're not finished. Waiting for work. Why are they waiting? They're not up to 50. Well, they're definitely waiting. One of them guys warming his hands, the other two just chilling. They've already got a place to eat and drink, their lunch or whatever. Huh. But they are chilling for some reason. Okay, now we've got a builder looking at the building plans inside their workshop. Okay, so she grabs stuff out of here. There's still some, and they'll probably do this first. Take stuff out of here first until they run out. And then they'll go look around in your other buildings to see if the supplies they want are there. Now, I'm purposely leaving in this on speed 1 instead of speeding it up a little bit so that you can see everything that happens. And if you click on her, you can get her job title, builder. She's already up to level 2, and now she's back to waiting for work. Okay. These are the things that she has primary needs right away, and this is what she's going to need later. Well, I should say needs. She's going to want those things later. Okay, so let's click on the building or the symbol here. No workers assigned. And do a quick 1, 2, 3 before the tutorial kicks in. Wow, the tutorial's got a big delay in it for some reason. And you see what they're doing? Now, there was a berry bush right up in here before, but we told them to remove it. So they dug it up and it disappeared. We still have the zone over here where we asked them, don't do anything here. Even if I tell you to, don't do anything here until I remove it. So we left click, we back up a little bit, make our circle a little bit bigger, I think. Yeah, that's easier. And then we hold down the right mouse button and take it away. See how we do that? Okay, question mark. What do you want us to do? New advice. Give us some more stuff for our to-do list, since our to-do list is finished right now. See what they want us to do? Paint a residential zone. Okay, and then they're going to give us a little bit. See what they want us to do? I highly recommend you don't do it that way, because they will build houses in that zone, that green zone, in a helter-skelter manner, and that'll be a curse later. So let me show you what it works better. All right, back off with the mouse wheel. Now remember, I'm recommending you pretend there's an invisible line going right across here, right through the middle of this center. And all of this will be your production area. All your production zone, like we've got already established, will be on that side of the line, or that side of the camp. And all your building for housing, or your permission to put up houses, will be on this side. Now, the rest of it's automated. This is the only part we have control of. Now, you see you got 2 choices, circle or square. I'm going to recommend you start with square. Later on, you might want to use circle too, and I probably will demonstrate that also. All right, now I want to make this as small as I can, like we did before. Oh, my mouse does its own thing, doesn't it? All right, so press down the control key. I'm not going to keep telling you this, so please remember. All right, I'm going to go even smaller. I know that's too small, but we'll do it anyway. Then I'm going to go up here. Then I'm going to mash down my, well, I'll do the Q key first. See what happens with the square? Now, I'm pretending there's an invisible line there, so that's what I'm going to try to line up to. Now, there's the first 2 ways you do it, Q or E, like an echo. Quick echo, quick echo. Okay, I'm going to use the mouse wheel. I'm going to smash it in, and then I'm going to move my mouse just a little bit. This is how you do your fine adjustment. Now, I think I'm north-south aligned, so... And I'm going to put the very first house permission right there. Now, if that's big enough, they'll go right to work. Well, it's not big enough, but anyway, they want me to see all this thing about the villager needs. Housing is one of them. It's a primary need besides something to eat and drink. Got it. All right, so now we've got, well, let's right-click up here first. And build a well. Huh. We can't build a well yet. We don't have any stone. Well, anyway, they haven't even started the first house yet. All right, let's hold down a control key and make that a little bit bigger with the mouse wheel movement. I don't want to get too much closer, so. The way you'll know that you've got it big enough is a bunch of building materials will show up in there. But of course, I'm assuming that means the builder is active. Okay, we've got a builder that's active, so let's make this bigger. And we'll try not to get too much closer. Still not acceptable, not big enough. All right, let's make it bigger. Still not acceptable. Oh, yes it is. Yes it is. See, the supplies just turned up there? So now let's make another one. Let's put it real close, but try not to blend them together. There we go. Now we've got more than one builder. Ah, excellent, excellent. They went ahead and accepted it. Now let's get real close, but not overlap. We've only got 2 builders, maybe. There we go. All right, they accepted it. Now let's go over here. Do it again. Now they've already accepted 3 of that size, so they should go ahead and accept the 4th one too. There it goes. We must only have 2 builders. Okay, let's do it again. Let's see, we have 10 population, so we need 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that satisfies our need right now. We have a house for everyone. But at some point, I'm going to need more housing when we hire some immigrants. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-designate by trying to continue the trend. You see how I'm lining that up? I don't want to touch the other house. The borderline. See, I don't want to be up here. I want to back off just a little bit. And just like we did before, try to square everything up. Oh, they might not take this one because, see, some of it's missing down there in that corner. But we'll try anyway. Now I want to get back to my bird's eye view with a Roger Rabbit R key and continue this. Uh-oh. We're right there on the edge of our borderline. And that's all we can get in. Now, I kind of hesitate to do another one because of these bushes right here, these berry bushes. Because eventually they'll run out of berry bushes on the other side of that invisible line. And they'll come down here and looking for take berries out of those. But it does tell me where I'm going to want to expand. All right, let's use the F like a Frank key. And let's go ahead and cancel this. All right, they're telling me to build a well. All right, I'll kind of ignore the fact that I know what I need. And we'll look for the well. There it is. And we'll click on it. Now, I usually go ahead and put the well not too far from housing. See, right about there where it's still green because I want the circle to get bigger. And they're going to go, we'll pay the 10 gold. They're going to go back and forth to that well once it gets constructed, and they're going to get a drink every once in a while. Now, this won't go away until the well project is finished, but let's click on it. We'll just click on the hammer. See what they need? They need stone, and they don't have any in storage anywhere. And they don't even have enough wood right now anywhere. So that kind of gives you a clue that something's wrong. Now we're going to say edit building. Well, nothing's going to happen right now because we don't have any choices. So we'll just have to leave it alone. We'll use the little white X. All right, so I know for a fact that I've got something else I need to do. And it's here. It just didn't put it in the to-do list for some reason. And here's a stone cutter cap. That's what we want. Remember when I said I just saw some stone right up here? Now, you're probably going to wonder why I'm going to put this as close as I can. Go back to Roger Rabbit view. But also notice how they get in and out of the build site. Those little white triangles. As long as I don't mess up one of those triangles and turn it red by getting overlapped footprints, and I don't have any other choke points. Choke points is when they touch or overlap the footprints. So right there looks like a perfect location for it. In fact, I might move it a little bit more this way. and then back down a little bit to make that area between the two blueprint or footprints a little bit bigger. Boom. Now we'll go ahead and play the 10 gold. And if our builders are not on break and goofing off on us, because they're not going to build any more houses, even though I've gave them more places, because we don't have anybody to put in those houses right now. We haven't had any immigration yet. Now, what do they need to do this construction? They need tools. We still have some. And they need wood. And we don't have any wood. Now, why would that be? Why are our woodcutters not busy? Let me show you why. If we go back here to the paintbrush and we look at where we gave them permission to cut, let's zoom in on that area. See, there's no wood here. There's only scrub brush. Some stuff we can't do anything with and a few flowers. We didn't give them enough permission. Area or zone as they call it in the game. So let's click on this. I'm going to use the circle for that. Now let's make our circle bigger. Rotating our mouse wheel. And let's see. We cannot go anywhere outside of our area that we own. So there we go. We're done. I don't think I missed any trees, did I? Let's zoom in here. No, that's just scrub brush. And we can't do the ones on the other side of the zone we own. So it looks like we got everything. So let's go ahead and get out of this left click. Or you can use the escape key. I'm going to use the escape key this time. But notice I still have to left click here in order to get this to go away. So I usually don't bother with the escape key very often. Unless I'm going to change over to building something right away. Or I should say authorizing something to be built. And try to get the builders back to work. But please don't forget about this forester camp. Even though they don't tell you to do anything in the tutorial, it's very important. Now, from the looks of things, we still have somebody available. We just don't need them on this job right now. So now notice over here, they still haven't done anything with building the well. Oh, she just started because she didn't have any wood. See, it was all in red, just like the stone was all in red. And in fact, they haven't gone over here yet because they don't have the wood. They're starting to get some wood, but they still don't have any left over. They have decided to give this priority. Now, if I want to change that, and I probably should, is, hey, look, we got to have stone before you can finish that project, so let's give this stonecutter camp priority. Boom. Now, that should mean that they changed their priority over to finishing the stone camp rather than the well. Now, we've got the stone cap window, pop-up window. So it's telling us, hey, look, you got stone right here. The resources that is connected to the structure is being shown on the map. In fact, we probably got more of it. Yeah, I see down here. We don't own this property, but we even way over here, we got some more stone. And up here and over there. So anytime you need to find stone, just make sure that you click on the building, Stonecutter's Camp, or you attempt to install another Stonecutter's Camp. Either works. All right, I'm going to go ahead and reduce this. I've already put it on priority, so there's nothing else I can do. And they don't quite have the 10 pieces of wood. They've only got 8 so far. And they had just ran out, so now they need to grab some more logs and bring it over. They've already got the tools they need located on site. Stonecutter campsite. There we go. She's got enough wood now. And you can see that she's making progress and what her name is. She's assigned to the job, and she may go ahead and finish it off, and then again she might go on break again. And somebody else that's still not on break might take over. Yeah, see there, the name just changed. Or at least, yeah, it looked like it changed. And she finished. Outstanding. We've got people available, otherwise it would turn gray like that. So let's click on this. Oh, we've only got the one person. That's not going to get the job done fast enough, I don't think. So let's go over to either, we've only got 2 choices, this one and take somebody out. And since we've only got one, let's take somebody out of here too. The game will decide who. It's usually the last person that got assigned. Now we'll click over here, and now we have the option to add both of them over here. Now, the reason why I don't recommend doing that any more than possible is because the new site that they're going to might be further away from their house. And if they decide it's too far, you're going to start getting complaints, little messages that pop up, usually right in this area, saying, hey, the work site in my house are just too far separated. And I either can't find a house or they're going to tell you it's too far away. Usually they'll tell you they cannot find a house because remember, we unemployed them. So sometimes that affects how they report the problem. Now, I've already showed you this. This is telling us how many people we got and what their rank are. Right now, they're all serfs. This will tell you how happy they are. And that also tells you a pretty good idea of what you want to do next. Now, housing is only -3. Now, I'm not really sure why it's -3, because we've got a house for everybody. Each house right now will, if we click on it, it'll only take 2. And then you can rest your cursor on them. There's a miner. So that's somebody we just took off the camp, and we put them all the way over there. Now, she still feels that that's close enough, so she's not complaining. This person is a builder, so yeah, they're nice and close to their house. Let's look at the next house. Woodcutter, woodcutter. Builder, miner. So she's the other person that we relocated to a new work site. She's still happy. Builder, forager. So they're up there working on picking berries. Builder, forager. And this last one, miner and forager. So that was probably the miner that we originally assigned. You see how close it is? It's fairly close. It's not as close as it is for the berry pickers, but it's close enough that we're not getting any complaints. All right, so let's see. Oh, I clicked on it. I wasn't supposed to do that yet. Just rest our cursor over there. Rustic food, we still have not provided food. Refined food, I'll let you know a little secret. I don't provide refined food anytime soon. In fact, the game will be, I don't know, more than 10 hours into it before I do. Water, that's because this job is still under construction. Remember what I said up here? I like to highlight that because it gives me a little more information. That's telling me that there's resources missing. Oh, she just finished it. Boy, I just barely got that in time, didn't I? All right, so now we're going to feed them. We're going to feed them berries. And they're telling us how we're going to do it. Now, it shows you putting a tent on there right away. Don't forget to do that. Put the tent frame on right away. Otherwise, you'll get a place to sell the berries or some other food, but you'll never get the tent on there. You'll have to destroy that little shopping area. Piece of, what would you call that? Furnishings or housing or building, structure, something. You'll have to destroy that and then start over because you forgot to put the tent on there. They will not allow you to attach it later. I don't know why they're stubborn like that, but that's how they slow down production in case you don't have all the materials you need. All right, we got it. And then we'll left click. Now, of course, we've got there's something new to build, indicator. Now, where is it? Oh, it's all the way over here. And there it is. So now we've got the 2 options. We've got the stall itself, and then we've got the rustic tent, market tent. They'll give you more choices of both kinds for different purposes later. All right, so you see where that little white dot is? That's where the merchant is going to stand. And the white triangle that's right across from him on the other side of the stall, that's where the customer stands. So we want to rotate this. Now, I'm going to purposely put it pretty close to where the berries are being deposited right now. But I got to be careful not to get too close and turn that one in and out location. Now, go ahead and point it a little bit more towards the center there. Now, remember, you got to put the tent on first before you start and say build. and it locks into place automatically. You just got to get it close enough. All right, we've done everything we can do, so boom. And if a builder decides they're not too busy, they'll go get supplies. Now, the only place she can get wood is she's got to get it from them. We don't have any other place for them to find the wood. And later on, the merchant will have to go here to get the berries. They don't have any other place to do it. But the only thing that's over there is wood, so she's going to have to go back to here to get the cloth part for the tent. And that's where she gets the tools if they're required. And they've got, once we get a merchant assigned there, this is their first place for berries. Now remember, you can't destroy this, but you can move it. Okay, there we go. I wonder if I should demonstrate moving it now. Okay, now we can assign somebody, but I don't think we have anybody, do we? Yes, it's all grayed out. We don't have anybody. So we have one of two choices. We can wait until some immigrants show up looking for work and hire one of them for that job. Or we're going to have to find somebody that's, we figure, is not too busy. Now, this is considered to be phase 1 completed because we're now a village. We just got a village promotion. So I'll right-click pretty much anywhere. And then we'll do the question mark. And it's going to tell you that you can move the whole structure if you get it clicked in the right place. Don't click on the tent part. Make sure you get the, what would you call, service counter part. And then you can install another one if you want to. Do they actually put the tent part on? Or do they just go ahead and... Yeah, there we go. They're showing you have to put the tent point on first. All right, got it. All right, so we don't have anybody to assign, so let's see. Let's look up here. Wood is kind of low. Stone's better. Oh, they got plenty of food. They got more than 50 actually. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's right. They've got 10 down here. That's why it said 60. But these people are just, these two are just hacking off because they're full. Their storage is full. But let's take one of them out for now. And of course, they normally take the last one in the list. Now we can go ahead and reduce this. And then we go over here. And yep, we're going to assign them. There we go. So now we only have one person on berry collecting at the gathering hut. And we have somebody that's going to sell, and they're going to take their supply out of here. But at some point, she'll come and get the 10 berries out of here. She hasn't done it yet. She should do it right away. But she always wants to have 30 berries on display. So whenever she needs to, she'll take a break to bring that number back up to 30 here. Oh, we made a mistake, didn't we? All right, let's click there. We didn't say what she's supposed to sell. So we got to go here. And the only option we have for food is, of course, berries. Now maybe she'll get busy and put some berries out. Say, hey, you hungry folk, come get some berries. Maybe I should go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Let's do it. Let's go to 2. Let's go down here and speed this up to 2. There we go. Oh dear, she still hasn't showed up. Maybe she's figured I'm not hungry, so I'm not worried about that yet. Yeah, she's assigned. We told her to do something. And the total capacity she can carry is 0, or excuse me, 30, but she doesn't have any right now. Well, we don't have any options yet. We haven't paid for them. We don't want to hit this. That would destroy the whole shebang. View workplace. Okay. Whenever you're looking at something and you decide to view it, it's going to be in the center of your screen. So if you had a piece of string going this way and this way, that would be right in the center of where those two strings cross. If you're following somebody, it doesn't give us the option just yet. We have to have clicked on her first. And you want to follow them to see what they're doing, you'd use this. You want to see where they're living or where they're going to be working, it'll always put that in the center of your screen. Oh, she what you got? Did she get the 10 berries out of here? No, she hasn't got 10 berries out of here yet. Now we'll look up here at our happiness and see where it shows. Just gotta move it up there. It's got rustic food. Every time somebody comes and gets some berries to eat, that's 18 minus percent. See how it goes down? Right now it's going down by 3 each time somebody comes and gets some berries to eat. Am I overdoing the details? Giving you too much information? I hope not. Oh, look at that. She's a merchant. She's selling the berries, but she hasn't even eaten one yet. See right there? She hasn't eaten any rustic food yet. She's happy with the water. She's had a drink recently. She knows where her house is. It's not too far away, so she's happy about that. Like I said, I'm not going to mess with this for a long, long time. And there's what your rustic food types are. Well, in this case, we're talking wild boar, wild pig meat, bread, and cheese. That's it. That's the only types that you can normally provide. Services, that takes a church. You gotta have a church. We don't have that authorized yet. Oh, she finally got something to eat. Look at that. She satisfied her hunger. We haven't paid for the church option yet, so... And it's not even offered up here. The only thing we've got right now is the map. Alright, now their happiness should start to improve. Oh, they just added something. We now get immigrants. And immigration is high, so that means we'll probably get anywhere from 1 to, 4? Later on, it might go to 5. Looking for work. The happiness at 75 is considered average. And if you want to cycle villagers, well, we don't have any there to cycle through. We probably have to go over here. No. The options are different. Let's try it. Right click. Yep, nothing happens. Nothing happens. There's nobody there to look at, I guess. Open Royal Book Villagers page. The Royal Book's not up here yet. So that's not going to work. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. All right, advice. Profit from trade. All right, give us something to do. Give us a little demonstration. Oh, it's not going to look like that right off. That comes later. It's not going to look like that right off. That's your Royal Book. And that's how you unlock more options on buildings and improving the buildings or offering more things to build or make in some way. All right, we got it. Building warehouse added. So let's see. They want to acquire storage in the progression menu. And now we have a new option up here, progression. And the hotkey is Control P. Now, technically, we're working on phase 2 of the game once we start this process. So maybe we should wait. Do we have any people coming this way? Yeah, we do. We've got some volunteers coming this way. They'll keep coming up and down this way, so there will be a trail. It won't be as thick as what you see here or here, but it'll eventually get there as they use that trail over and over again. All right, so who do we need? I think we need them both, don't we? Okay, now we can click on them. Left click, of course. Notice that they get water, they get food, whatever they need the most. They've been traveling. Now we can click here and say, you know what? I want more berry prickles. I'll just put one of you right in there right now. Boom. And she gets added. All right, how about this one? No, we've got all 3. How about over here? Oh, we can use one in there. That's a primary resource, so we'll click there. And that takes care of both of our immigrants looking for work. Now, let's look right down here. It says acquire storage in the progression. Well, since this video is, about a good hour long here, maybe a little bit more, let's go ahead and stop the recording because we have phase 1 completed. Whatever we do from here on out will be part of phase 2.